Are we expecting some first-class deliveries with the new Canoo EV brand? Well, we're about to find out right now. And if you're new to my channel, my name is David Boyd. I'm an auto journalist, and I do like this little brand called Canoo. Now, I do give it tough love from time to time because I'd like to see this brand do well. I'd like to see one eventually in my driveway. But until we see that, who knows? Anyways, let's get into today's stories, and we will discuss this. First off, we've got some job news from the brand, so we'll bring this up. And as you can see here, this comes from us from Buzz EV News. Headline: Canoo discusses jobs and manufacturing growth in the Oklahoma area. Canoo said it's created 100 new jobs in the state of Oklahoma, and the state is now home to 20% of their total workforce. That's pretty wicked. I do like that. American jobs, I like to see a company really trying to do right and make these in America, which, at one point they were going to make them overseas and ship them in. I think the idea of the cost of that, the whole DeLorean aspect of that wasn't going to work out. So they're like, hey, we'll build them in America. And Oklahoma is actually a really good place because you have Interstate 40 going right through there. So each parts of America, they can deliver these things. And that's a good thing. Out of all this article doesn't say, at one point they're saying, hey, we're going to use a big chunk of the area workforce is going to be native. I don't know on this. The article doesn't really go into details about that, but hopefully they're following through with that because I think that is that's a pretty excellent way. It's great for PR, but it's an excellent way to help that community as well. So next up, here's King Bee. That's right. This was in December, and I just didn't cover it because there wasn't enough news here to cover. This is from Canoo's press release. Canoo delivered electric vehicles to King Bee. Delivery part of 9,300 vehicles binding order for the national van provider. The thing this doesn't say, and I've looked at many news articles about this, is how many did they deliver? Because they have a weird thing about, they gave NASA 3. That was a big delivery. Now Walmart's gotten a couple, I think. But how many of these things, out of the 9,300 have they actually delivered? Because nothing that I'm seeing from this plant is really cranking these things out just yet. At some point, investors are going to want to see these things, at least 20 a day, maybe. Let's get that rolling so we can see. I think that would, if they could do that, people would, they would feel a little more secure. At one point I owned well over 1,000 shares of stock. I've sold that. I bought back in because right now the price of the stock is like 16 cents at the time of recording, and it keeps going down and down and down. I want to own a little bit of this company in case, it explodes like Tesla did. So we'll worry about that down the road. But out of all these, how many do you think? In the comments, I'm curious, how many have you seen any articles? Because I've yet to find anything of how many they've actually delivered. You can go to King Bee's website, and it does show them on their websites now. So and if you don't know, King Bee they buy fleet vehicles for companies that, hey, I need 2 to 5 vehicles, and they're trying to push into EV territories. Hey, I need those. They'll wrap them to your company's specs and deliver them to you, and you pay them, and in turn, I guess they pay Canoo. That leads me to the next thing, and here's another article about this. Canoo gets real deliveries, and once again, I cannot find anything about how many of these things they've actually delivered. So once again, if you know, let me know. So next up, this is today. This was pretty good. You would think this would have bumped the stock up a little bit till you read the article. So Canoo reaches agreement with the U.S. Postal Service for purchase of electric vehicles. And that headline itself, you would have thought that would have jumped prices up 20 cents a share. Like you would have seen that going, okay, the government's really getting behind it. I know NASA bought a few, but that was just for that. Honestly, that's a PR stunt for Canoo, really. That I'm sure they basically gave them those just to get kind of probably to get to the good money, the big chunk of money that is the United States Postal Service. But the United States Postal Service buying these things is I think that is a good thing till you see right here. United States Postal Service will purchase 6 vehicles. 6. That's not even to me a beta tester for how many the United States Postal Service is buying. Of course, they're doing this big push into EV. There's been this whole weird thing with the United States Postal Service, this big contract. I think it was Oshkosh or whoever it was. We're going to make EV vehicles. And then we saw this art project of like my 9-year-old built something that was going to be, when I think in fact that in most cases something like the Canoo or the little Ford Traverse vans that they do, those make more sense. But well, the government being the government, I was a little disappointed when I read into the article and they bought 6. Once again, here it is. Once again, bought 6 from the Canoo. They're going to take delivery of these in the first quarter of 2024, which probably by the end of the first quarter is what I would say they're going to do. Canoo is honored to participate as one of the potential suppliers for the groundbreaking electrification and modernization of the United States Postal Service delivery fleet. Announced January 22nd, 2024. The effort is part of the United States Postal Service $40 billion investment strategy to upgrade and improve and organizing their processing, transportation, and their delivery networks. Now, obviously, that's a whole nother video if you want to get into the United States Postal Service, but they're getting their asses kicked by everybody else. Even Amazon's kicking their ass. So I think they're having to really let's get with the times, and maybe these EV products are right for them, and maybe it'll help the taxpayers. I don't know, but and finally, we get into this. Here's the article again where it talks about, this is from Investor Place, where stock alert, that the Postal Service bought once again, 6 of these things out of basically the 220,000 of their fleet. They're buying 6. And I just think that is basically a beta testing. Pure and simple. And I'm sure they've done it with other companies, but I would have liked to seen them bought 20, 30 of these things at minimum. I mean, at minimum, but they got their foot in the door. So that's always a good thing. So where are you guys at with the Canoo brand? Are you one of these investors who is excited? Like, hey man, I'm all in, because I've seen it in my comments. People are all in for the brand, which I commend you. I give tough love a lot of times in these videos, but I do commend you if you're sticking with it. I think people, they were talking about, they bought when it was pretty expensive a share, and how would you like to have bought it maybe $5-8 a share, and you own 1,000 of those stocks, and you see it at 16 cents a share right now? I probably would have dumped before that, but I'm not much of a gambler. So in the comments below, let me know what you think. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these EVs, we're all going to be driving. Toyota says at least 30%. It's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.